Ramaji, you are holding the control on the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, shall we start? Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and a very good evening to one and all. My name is Syed Kashif Wali. I am the Treasurer elect for the term 2022-23. It is my privilege to take up the role of Secretary behalf of Brother Abuli Farm today. Speaker of the day, Mr. Arshad Ayub, distinguished guests, respected seniors, participants from different parts of the world, executive committee members of ASSP, HSE event committee members, on behalf of American Society of Safety Professionals, I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar on awareness session on Contractor HSE Plan during construction and commissioning stage. Before moving further, there are some ground rules for the webinar today. Only one participant can speak at a single time. All the participants can keep their mics on a mute condition. And if at all you have any questions, please post your questions in the chat box. Our speaker will answer your questions in the end of the session. Before moving further, we'll have a small video of ASSP. With that, we'll move further. Ramanaji, change the screen. Thank you, Ramana. Hope you're clear that what are the benefits you're going to get once you become ASSP member. Now we'll have a look of today's agenda and the flow of the program. Opening address, a briefing of chapter activities, introduction to trainer, awareness session, question and answer session, online quiz, networking, felicitation, closing address. Let's have a look of HSE moment. Thank you, Mr. Yes.
Excuse me, Kausarji. Maybe Arshad Ayub will talk about this one. Do you have any idea about this incident? Sorry to disturb you. Actually, I didn't tell you about this.
No, I don't know anything. I'm thinking what it is actually.
Yeah, Arshad Ayub, could you please elaborate about it?
We got up today. Yes. Hope you have muted him.
Yes, sorry. You have unmuted me. This was one of the incident happened near to my place where there was a fire happening inside the truck and people are just crossing the road without stopping and waiting for the firefighting team to reach. So immediately once one of the bus and the car, when it has passed, people were shooting this video and immediately there was a blast happened from the material which was stored. The video was little fast. If it is in WhatsApp or other mobile applications, it will show the blast, how it has occurred. So the lesson learned from this video is whenever we see the fire, whenever we see a fire, please don't cross over. Wait for the firefighting team to reach so that the fire clearly extinguish itself. That's the message. Thank you, Ramana.
Thank you. Please continue, Hsc.
Thank you, Speaker of the Day. Now I'll call upon Mr. Mazharuddin Sheikh, President ASSP Kuwait Chapter, for Presidential Address. Mr. President, over to you.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening, everyone. I am Mazharuddin Sheikh, President for the year 2022 and 23. Mr. Kashif, am I audible clear?
Yes, Mazhar, very clear.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. I am seeing the number is increasing. It's a prayer time, so it will take maybe 5 to 10 minutes for other friends to join. Meanwhile, let me welcome all of you on behalf of ASSP Kuwait Chapter and the Executive Committee for today's technical program. This is very important program because we are doing majorly operations or project in Kuwait, when we are in Kuwait or in oil and gas industry also. Majorly all the contractors are involved either in the project or operation. So when we start any project, the very first and most important thing is to the plan your project, right? If you take any incident, or if you see let's say 50 incidents of process safety, I am telling you the most of the incident you will find that the issues came because design was not taken care properly, or during the project stage the designs are not planned, risk management studies are not planned very well. Now, how we plan all these things, what we need to do, what we don't need to do, that all things we are taking care in a Project HSE plan. Mr. Arshad Ayyub, my very close friend, as well as very good speaker and very knowledgeable, experienced person, who is going to tell us today how we shall prepare and what are the things we should consider to prepare a Project HSE plan. So, thanks everyone for joining, and inshallah we will gain a lot from this session today. And I request all of you to actively participate. Ask your questions, whatever you want, in a chat box. Mr. Ramanna is there who will raise your question once we will finish our presentation. And even after today's session, after we finish, you have any issues, you can write us on a mail. If you have any problem coming or any question coming on this topic, and our committee, which is a technical committee, they are developing one kind of, you say, the program where regularly 24 hours you can post your questions, and the same day or next day an expert from the ASSP Kuwait chapter, who are a very senior, or the one who is working in the industry and he's a specialist, will answer your questions. So very soon we are going to launch this with the help of our technical committee. So thanks a lot once again for joining, and I'll give it back to our acting secretary today, Mr. Kashif Bali. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your presidential address. Now we will have some glimpse of our chapter activities. Please bear with us. You can change the slide, Ramana. Yeah, brothers, after the pandemic, we had this session physically, first time after the pandemic. Commemoration of World Environment Day 2022 on the date 5th of June at Safir International, Fintas. Around 85 participants got benefited with this event. Next, on the same day, we had our launch program of Professional Development Conference 2022, the same hotel. Next, we had launched our program of ASSP GCC HSE Excellence Awards 2022. We are going to explain you more about this in the end of the session, where this is the GCC HSE Excellence Awards. are performing with the concept of you perform, we recognize. After that, we had our annual general body meeting 2022 on the date of 22nd June 2022 at Al Wataniya Club, where 85 participants are there, where the previous tenure we had farewell and send off party to our past committee, and the new committee, new tenure 2022-23 had taken over. Next. After that, on 30th June 2022, we have a committee orientation meeting. We had submitted the official appointment letters to all the committees who had joined tenure 22-23 at Kohinoor Banquet Hall with 30 participants, where all the teams, all the committees heads and deputies had joined. And we had PSM technical meet, 24th technical meet on 20th July 2022 by Mr. Rizwan Parker and Tata Venkata Surya Prakash. Around 60 participants got benefited with this technical meet. As you all know, ASSP is running a Toastmaster club as well. You can see the glimpse of Toastmasters, and we had a meeting on second. Yeah, we are frequently having our meetings on 2nd and 4th Saturday of every month. Those who are interested can join Toastmasters of ASSP as well to get benefit from it. And upcoming events of ASSP, we are having professional development conference in November. We already circulated call for papers, call for abstract and all. This is a patronage under Ministry of Oil and Water, and many K companies are sponsoring this event. And we are having GCC HSE Excellence Award on the same event date time. And even the abstract, this call for these contractors to participate in GCC HSE Excellence Award, we already circulated. Next, Ramana. These are our upcoming events. BOHS W505, Control of Hazardous Substances. International certification, we are planning to conduct it on 19th to 26th of August. And PSM technical meet will be there, which is having every month on 21st of August. Global OSHA 500 Construction Safety Training Course. It is from 22nd to 26th of August. Safety poster competition from Outreach Events Committee in the month of August. ASSP preparatory workshop training in August, September. Introduction and background. Now I would like to call our head of HSE Events Committee, Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, for the speaker introduction. Mr. Muhammad Yusuf, over to you.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Am I audible?
Yes, clear.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Well, friends, it's my pleasure to introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Arshad Ayub Sheikh. He's working as a safety engineer for KOC, and he has worked in many companies like KNPC, KGOC, PIC, ONGC, IOCL, DCW, IAL, AMEC, Foster Wheeler, Floor, Petrofac, Saipam, L&T, and so on. So he has worked for the different countries of Europe, Middle East, Africa, and India. He has done his PG in petroleum engineering from IIT Madras. And mashallah, he is a gold medalist in chemical engineering, BTech. He has done more than 100 PHs and many more. So with this brief introduction, now I call upon our today's speaker, Mr. Ashud Ayub Sheikh. The mic is yours, Mr. Ashud Ayub. Thank you.
Thank you, Yusuf. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. I hope my voice is clear. Just a minute. First of all, I would like to thank ASSP Kuwait chapter for once again giving me the opportunity to present myself, to share our knowledge, to enhance our knowledge. In fact, this today's session, I request everyone to participate in a thorough way so that you also enhance your knowledge, and also I will also get some more information to enhance my knowledge. So this is the platform. First of all, I would like to thank this ASSP Kuwait chapter for once again giving this opportunity. The president of ASSP Kuwait chapter, Mr. Mazaruddin Sheikh. A special thanks for this program to Mr. Yusuf, who has requested me, and we agreed to do this session, and many participants has joined now within the short notice of time. Alhamdulillah. I hope we have less time. We will try to cover all the contents of the program. So, Ramana, can you please allow me to share my screen?
Yeah, done. Absolutely, you can.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Just a minute. So once again, welcome for this awareness session on today's program for Contractor HSE Plan during construction and commissioning. There are different type of plans we usually see during different stages of the project. But today's program, we will exclusively focus during construction phase and commissioning phase. We will see different agendas, different topics of today's agenda. The first, we will look into the different types of plans. In every project, we have different plans which will be prepared at different stages of the project. And what is the link of these plans? How these plans are linked together? Whether these plans are independent plans or whether these plans are a combined plans? Whether do we have any links in between these plans? In brief, we will see about these plans. Next, we will go to the definition of HSE plan. What is HSE plan means? After that, we will look into the different stages, phases of project life cycle. We all know that every project has its own project life cycles. Some projects goes from start from identification to operations, follow all the phases, all the stages, but some of the projects goes skipping some of the stages. So we will look into the different stages of the project life cycle. After that, we goes to the different types of HSE plan. First, we will see different types of the plans. After that, we will look into different types of the HSE plans. So there is a small difference in this. We will look into that. So the fifth objective of today's agenda is the overall objectives of Project HSE Plan. Just a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Okay, so it was showing that. Sorry, it was showing my internet connection is good. That's why I asked. Thank you, Ramana. the 5 objectives of Project HSE Plan. That means why HSE Plan is required. First, we will see what is HSE Plan. At 5th stage, we will see why we need an HSE Plan. So after that, we will go to the key content of today's program. That means Contractor HSE Plan during construction. What are the key contents? The structure has to be maintained inside the document. So that we will look into the sixth topic. At the end, we will see, we will also try to cover what changes those has to be incorporated into the Project HSE Plan. That means when you develop your project HSE Plan in the initial stage of construction, you slowly move on to the project of pre-commissioning stage and commissioning stage. During that time, what are the key activities, key agendas has to be incorporated in the HSE Plan. So that's the overall agenda. I am trying to minimize the slides as low as possible to cover the topic. So the slides will be less, but the topic discussion will be more. So I request everyone to focus on the my discussion rather than just looking into the slides, because the slides will have minimum information, but I will be speaking more on the topics. So that's the overall idea for today's plan. So let us start now. So what are the different types of plan we look in the project? Before I go into the key sections, we all know, we all hear these definitions in every project: ERP, waste management plan, emergency environmental management plan, fire protection plan, journey management plan. Just a minute. Okay, these are the different types of plans we hear in every project. So the first, we have to understand that all these plans are part of the Project HSE Plan. As our president initially stated, the Project HSE Plan is the first document we prepare in every project, whether it is an oil and gas project, whether it is a building project, whether it is a soil excavation project, whether it is going to be a substation project, whether it is going to be a upgradation project, whether it is going to be a small project where you are installing a single pump, or any project, any service. In fact, not only the project, we have different types of service providers. See, one of our projects, the scope of the contractor is only to provide vehicles to the company. The scope is only providing vehicles. The scope is only providing internet service. The scope is only providing fiber optic cable. The scope is only providing printers to print the missions. So every contractor, when his project is allotted, he has a particular scope of work. Any project, any service, any facility, before they start the construction activities, the first document they have to prepare is the HSE plan, Project HSE Plan. That's the topic we are going to see now. So inside the HSE plan, what are the contents? We will look into the coming slides. So all these documents of ERP, waste management, journey management are included in the HSE plan. That's the motto of this slide. So going forward, we will see the definition of HSE plan. What is HSE plan? So when somebody asks you, tell me what is HSE plan, why we have to prepare this? The HSE plan is a simple document. It is a procedure which describes you how you will carry out your work in a safe manner by protecting health, safety, and environment. See, you allotted a project to a particular contractor. You want him to carry out the scope. Say you are allotted a substation construction project. The contractor is bringing his manpower, his equipment to construct the substation. So what as a client you expect? You expect him to execute his work in a safe manner by protecting health, safety, and environment. Correct? So how you believe that he will do this? You will believe by looking of his plan. You ask him a document showing to you, saying how he is going to carry out his scope of work by protecting health, safety, and environment. So that's the key definition of HSE plan. So once you have your HSE plan definition, we look now the different stages of the project life cycle. So most of the projects, the stages are common. Every project starts with an identification stage where the company, the client will identify the project requirement. So what is required for the project is identified by the company in the identification stage. After that, the company will discuss the concepts, different types of concepts to execute this project. So whether we will go with the underground, whether we want to go with the above ground pipelines, whether we want to construct the GC in south area, north area, west area, whether we can club the GC, only upgrade the existing GC, different concepts. All the concepts has to be discussed. So once the concepts are discussed, they will identify the most feasible, they will select the most feasible idea. So which has the cost impact, which has the safety impact, everything will be discussed in the concept selection stage. Once the concept selection stage is finished, the project goes for the feed stage, that is definition stage. The definition stage includes the feed and the contract awarding. So as a client will do the initial design of the project. They look out how many tanks we require. They look out how many pipelines, how much is the diameter, how much is the length we need, how many walls we require. Overall, as a feed, they conduct the feed. They also conduct many HSE studies in the field. So which we have also, previously we have conducted an exclusive awareness session on project life cycle HSE studies. You can also look into that in ASSP Kuwait chapter website on different HSE studies required on different stages of the project. Here, I am giving the brief introduction of life cycle. So once the feed is finished, the project is awarded to the contractor. The project goes for the contract action. The contractors will go for the bidding. The first contractor will be selected. The best contractor will be selected. Once the contract is awarded, the contractor enters the fourth stage, that is execution stage. Here, contractor will come with his own design team and construction and commissioning team. Initially, he comes up with the detailed design team. They again do the detailed design of the project. They conduct different types of HSE studies. Once the detailed design is approved, contractor starts his construction activities. So once the construction starts, the construction will progress. At the end, he goes for the commissioning stage, and then the operation stage starts. So this is the overall life cycle of the project. We have many projects where the feed and detail engineering is clubbed together on different aspects that we will not discuss here. This is the basic idea of project life cycle. So in the next slide, we are looking of the types of HSE plans in different phases. We have also conducted one of the awareness session on each of these HSE plans. If you see in ASSP Kuwait chapter website link, it is available. You can also request Ramana to look out what are the contents of each HSE plan of concept, feed, execution, contractor, and operations. That's a different program. But in today's session, we are only focusing on contractor HSE plan, which is during execution stage. You can see in the previous slide, execution stage covers detail engineering, construction, and commissioning. So contractor HSE plan will cover all these key informations. The HSE plan starts initially by the company, develops initially by the company, further updates in the feed, further it hands over to the contractor in the contract award, and contractor will further update in the execution stage, that is construction and commissioning. Then he handovers the same document to company for operational HSE plan. So that's the overall picture of HSE plans. So in this single slide, we will see the objectives, why we need HSE plan. What is the objective of preparing the HSE plan? Whenever we prepare any document, we have a certain objectives. Every document, every study has its own objective. You conduct QRA study to identify the initial risk and societal risk to the public. You conduct fire and gas detection study to identify the location and height of the detectors. You conduct hazard study to identify the initial hazards during the project layout stage. You conduct hazard study, you identify the operational deviations. Similarly, HSE plan, when we prepare an HSE plan, it has its own objective. So by keeping these objectives, the HSE plan document has to be prepared. So the first and most important objective is to ensure that company HSE policy, company HSE objectives, company regulatory compliances are addressed. By looking a HSE plan, company will ensure that yes, contractor agreed to follow my HSE policy, to follow my company HSE objectives, to follow my country and my company regulatory requirements. So that's the first objective of HSE plan. The second objective is to ensure, the company will ensure that contractor is identifying potential hazards of health, occupational safety, process safety, and environmental aspects and impacts. So company will ensure itself that yes, the contractor is identifying this. How he will ensure? By looking this HSE plan. That's the second objective. The third and fourth objective is once you identify your hazards, you have to apply your tools to mitigate those hazards. So what are the tools he is going to bring? What are the equipments he is going to bring? What are the safeguards he is going to bring? What are the safe systems he is going to bring? What are the PPE he is going to bring? What is the manpower he is going to bring? What is the certified trainers he is going to bring? All these things, by looking at the HSE plan, company will ensure. The fourth objective is to identify the key activities, roles, and responsibilities. See, every project has its own activities. Many projects goes for the deep excavations, confined space, working at height, different type of activities. So all those activities has to be mentioned in the HSE plan, and roles and responsibilities of the key personnel. The last objective for the HSE plan is to estimate the time. So the contractor will confirm the company, but within the given time, we will execute these key activities and finish the project. So these are the resources we are going to bring for the project. So all these goals to achieve HSE goals and the objectives, all these things he will be listing out in the project HSE plan. So with this, we finish our brief introduction about what is HSE plan, what is the types of project life cycle, what are the types of HSE plans we have, and what are the objectives of project HSE plan. Now we are entering into the key part of the awareness session, structure of contractor HSE plans, nothing but contents of contractor HSE plan. When anyone who is preparing the HSE plan, if he follows these steps, it will look like a very good document to review and to approve. So how the first and most important thing we start with is the project HSE philosophy and commitment. So every project, it has its own introduction. So when you prepare the project HSE plan, it is requested to write the introduction of the project in a clear way. So I will give a small example. Suppose if you are building say you are constructing a substation. Say once again, take the example of substation. You can write the so-and-so company which has 10 substations would like to enhance its power capacity to so-and-so watts. So it is going to construct awarded a new project. So like that. So the introduction of the project has to be very clear and specific. So before we once again enter this topic, I would like to highlight one key point, which is like every project HSE plan, when you prepare, try to write the information as much as possible related to your project. We have experienced many times the people who are preparing the HSE plan, they write much as information which is outside the project scope of work, which is not applicable to the project scope. So this is the basic idea. When you prepare this particular document, write the key information of your scope of work. So that's the first point. to write the introduction, and then define your project scope of work. Clearly define your project scope of work, the boundaries. The scope of work is nothing but your boundaries. Right from the beginning till the end, what is your scope? Exclusively define your scope. If you want to write additionally, say what if it is not part of your scope of work, that also you can mention. However, kindly ensure to write your clear definition. Suppose example I will give you. If your project is only supply of equipments, so you have to clearly write the project scope of work is supplying of equipment to the company. If your project is supplying of manpower, write clearly the scope of work is supply of manpower. So the similar way, if your scope is only constructing a GC, you have to clearly write the project is construction of GC, which consists of 10 tanks, 5 separators, pig launchers, pump house, instrument air, control building, substation, so and so. So this is how the scope of work has to be clearly defined. What we have seen, what we have observed is the contractor who has 2 different types of projects inside the company will add the other projects information in this particular project scope of work, which is completely not acceptable. So once the scope is defined in the first section, then you list the HSE objectives of this particular project. Don't write HSE objectives of the company, your company. We have observed that many people will write HSE objectives of the company. Instead of writing HSE objectives of the company, it is suggested to write HSE objectives of the project. So what is your goals? What is your objectives? Are you going to accept any incidents? You can mention HSE objectives of 0 incident, 0 leaks, whatever is the reason. So that's the key information needs to be mentioned. After the objectives, this is the one of the key information of the company policies, company's vision, company's mission. Every company has its own vision and mission that can be added in this particular section, along with company HSE policy, company no smoking policy, company driving policy. Further to this, if every contractor has his own HSE policy, definitely. So that also has to be mentioned and attached here. When you attach your company HSE policy or contractor HSE policy, it has to be identified that the recently updated live HSE policy has to be attached, and also every HSE policy document has to be authorized, signed by the top management of the company. So these 2 things has to be ensured in this section. So once your HSE policies are done, the next one comes out, the procedures, HSE procedures. Every project is going to follow certain HSE procedures, company standards, company regulations, company guidelines, best industry practices, and international standards. Ensure writing only applicable procedures, applicable standards in this section. I will give you one small example. One of the electrical substation project, they mentioned that they will do they have mentioned that they will follow HAZAP procedure, they will follow QRA procedure, they will follow SIL procedure. How it is applicable? So you know your project scope of work. When you write your HSE procedures, you have to write only your applicable HSE procedures rather than all HSE procedures. No, don't write all HSE procedures here. We know all HSE procedures. Only write applicable HSE procedures to the project scope of work. So this is the first section of the HSE plan. Then it starts with HSE organization and leadership. So under the HSE organization, kindly mention organization chart in a brief way. We suggest like you can make your own organization chart. It is not stopping. But the key thing is when you mention organization chart, the organization chart should show the top management of the company and key people in one of the organization chart. In the second page or in the same organization chart, the project related organization, project related leadership people has to be mentioned. Like every project will have their own project manager, then construction manager, commissioning manager, your key people of trainers, your HSE manager. So those organization chart has to be mentioned. In the third one, and the key thing is your HSE organization chart. You will be having your own department of HSE, where you will have your HSE manager, you will have your specialist, you will be having safety engineers, officers, environmental engineers, trainers, industrial hygiene people, you have your medical team, you have your first aiders, you have your safety officers, you have different type of HSE team, your HSE document controller, everybody will be there in the HSE team. Those people's designations and roles has to be mentioned in the HSE organization chart. When you say organization chart, it is not about your corporate company or who is outside the project scope. Yeah, you can mention them. Further to that, which has to be ensured is project related people. So once you mention the organization chart, you write their key people's key HSE, all HSE people's qualification and experience, which will add value, which will show that the contractor has his own qualified and experienced people in the project. So once again, the third most important thing is roles and responsibilities of all HSE personnel. Please focus on all HSE personnel. In the organization chart, as I mentioned, you have prepared your organization chart for HSE, manager, specialist, everyone. What we have observed, when it comes to the responsibilities, writing the responsibilities, many people skip some of the people who is already mentioned in the organization chart. Like they don't write the roles, responsibilities of environmental engineer. They don't write the responsibilities of the trainer, first aider, medical officer, or your document controller, your HSE manager. Sometimes they club HSE manager roles and safety engineer roles in the same way. HSE manager / safety engineer. How it is possible? Safety engineer cannot execute the roles and responsibilities of HSE manager. So you have to clearly identify the roles and responsibilities of all HSE personnel whom you have mentioned in your organization chart. After that, you mention your HSE manpower details. Every project will have that 20, some projects they have 20 safety officers, 80 safety officers, 10 safety officers. You have one environmental engineer, 2 environmental officers. So your manpower details has to be mentioned in the here. In addition to that, if you like to add any other key people's roles and responsibilities, such as construction manager, commissioning manager, electrical engineer, driver, even you can add a driver's responsibilities, your firefighting team responsibilities. So any other key people whom you feel, project manager, example, project manager he is a key person. So those people's responsibilities you can add as applicable. So this is how the section has to be prepared. Then we move to the third section. I think we are going a little slow. I will little rush because we have less time now. The third and most important thing is HSE risk management. The HSE risk management is the key section where you have to mention about your HSE studies. The time contractor starts construction, before he hit the ground opening ceremony, he might have conducted many HSE studies such as hazard, hazard, QRA, SIL, phasers. You might have done fire and gas detection, FARA study, ERA study, blast resistance, many studies, HSE studies. I'm not talking about construction related. I'm talking about process and design related. So all those HSE study information has to be mentioned in this section. Applicable only. Don't write which is not applicable. Don't write hazard. Don't write QRA simply which is not applicable. If it is not applicable to your project, whatever is applicable, you mention it. You no need to attach report here, but give a reference to the study report which he has conducted. This is a reference document. This is the revision number. So this is the key information has to be mentioned here. As I mentioned, phaser 4 you might have not done when you hit your ground. you might have only finished phase 3 because detailed design ends with phase 3. Phase 4 is construction, which contractor is planning to do it in the future. But however, you write it here in the HSE initial HSE plan that in future the contractor will conduct phase 4 and phase 5, whatever the other studies applicable. So you can also add them, the future studies. After that, the issue goes with the risk assessment and management. So every project will identify the hazards. We all know every day we prepare our JSAs, we identify the hazards, we identify the consequences, we identify the risk ranking, correct? There is a criteria defined. So what is low, what is medium, what is high is already defined. So that defined criteria has to be captured here. Your risk matrix. Some companies follow 4x4 risk matrix. Some companies, they follow 5x5 risk matrix. Some companies, they follow 6x6 risk matrix. Some companies club all your process related assets, integrity or reputation, your, what I can say, your asset damages, your environmental incidents clubbed together in a single risk matrix. Some projects, they want to use this risk matrix. You please mention it here. Some projects will have, some companies has two different types of risk matrix, one for process related, one for construction related. Please mention both here. So it has to be ensured that companies' risk criteria for consequence, likelihood, and risk matrix and risk criteria is mentioned here. And then the HSE Risk Registers. HSE Risk Register is further a key, is one of the key document. Every project has its own risk registers called HSE, Safety, Health and Environmental Aspect and Impact Risk Register. Some people in Kuwait, we have seen they prepare compliance risk registers also. So all those risk register information has to be mentioned here. You can attach them in the appendix. However, mention one section for each document, what is the revision number, how you have prepared it in a brief way by covering what activities. So I know many of you guys are more interested in the format of risk registers, but I once again suggest when you prepare, when anybody is preparing the risk register, please focus on how you are preparing the risk registers. Many people are confused between the activities, between the hazards, between the consequence, between safeguards and recommendations. So focus on how you are preparing your risk registers when you are preparing them. So the last part of this section is, this third section is hazardous area classification and MOC. If your project is working, if your project is under the hazardous area where you have zone 0, zone 1, zone 2, where the flammable atmosphere is continuously available or normally available or unavailable. So those information has to be mentioned here. If it is outside the flammable atmosphere, mention it. This project does not pose any flammable atmosphere and all the activities are occurred in a unclassified area. So you have to clearly mention it here, what is applicable for your project scope. And at the end, every project has his own MOC, management of change, how you are going to deal with MOC. That section you can add at the end. The fourth topic, the fourth section of the HSE plan is that about the training and awareness. Every project has his own training department, training team, where you have a trainer, certified HSE trainer, who is going to give the trainings. So his role is to discuss with the key people like manager, engineers, and officers and decide the training program. Prepare a training matrix with all the roles, with all your project activities. Don't miss anyone. Don't even miss your T-boy, your office works, your document controllers, your drivers, your welders. Everyone who is working in the project has to have their own training program. Whether they want to attend the training, whether they want to attend the awareness, you initially decide it. And also develop awareness program and induction program. So what is the purpose of induction program? See, many visitors are going to come. Many people first time going to add in your project, who are not aware about your project hazards, who are not aware about the emergency situations, who are not aware about the assembly point, escape routes. They don't know whom to call, what is the emergency number. So these details has to be shared in HSE induction program. So develop separate document for induction program where your induction details has to be mentioned in what are the PPE you have to wear when you go for the project, what are the safety requirements has to be ensured. See, you will not believe the people take what I can say granted about the HSE induction program. When incident happens, the visitors, how they will handle, we don't know. So please ensure that induction program is properly prepared and properly communicated to all the people who are coming first time to the project. And you have certified training programs. Every project will be having certain certified training programs for the manpower. I'm not talking about equipment here. I'm talking for the people. Say you have crane operators, you have riggers, you have welders, where you need the third-party certification training programs. So in the HSE plan, identify what are the roles who need the certified third-party training. Addition to that, add your HSE campaigns. Every project will be conducting many different types of HSE campaigns, such as driving, heat stress, H2S, working at height. These days, every project is conducting for COVID-19 HSE campaign. So every HSE campaign things you add it here and do awareness and provide awareness to the workers. At the end of this section of training, the key things is HSE promotions, awards, and rewards. Believe me, here I can say before COVID, we were encouraging the workers, we were providing the awarenesses and rewards and promotions. These days, this particular section, we are lagging. I have a personal experience in one of the projects where we were visiting. The contractor has, I cannot mention the name of the contractor. You will not believe, every time when we visit, he appreciates the workers by giving them small vouchers. You can see the smile and you can see the happiness of the workers by when they get appreciated with the company personnel, with PMCs, with the contractor management. So try to encourage your workers by providing the awards, by providing them some rewards. So this is the this is the fourth section. Then we move on to communications and meetings. So when you have a project where you have a manpower, you will be conducting different types of meetings. So in this section, you have to write what are the different types of meeting: HSE meeting, construction meetings, commissioning meetings, or your environmental meetings. Sometimes you do different management meetings. So all those meetings, duration, location, where you are going to conduct, who are the key participants required, and what is the agenda? What are the things you are going to discuss in the HSE meeting has to be mentioned here. And also write the toolbox talk topics, and who will be conducting toolbox talk, how much is the duration, where is the location you are going to conduct. After that, you write about your HSE alerts, how you are going to communicate. Are you going to display them? Are you going to give the pamphlets to the workers? Are you sending them the WhatsApp messages? Are you sending them by emails? Or are you providing the big banners? How you are going to share the HSE alerts? So that information has to be mentioned. Similarly for the lesson learns. And the end, you have to mention your communication methods. How you are going to communicate to your subcontractor management, your company management. Are you sending official memo by paper or by documents, by emails? What is your method of communication for both internally in your organization, external to the clients and other stakeholders? In the end, how you are managing your documents, the records, how you are controlling them. This is one of the key things during the audits. It is very difficult. Sometimes it will be very difficult even to the contractor to identify his own document. This is not right. So every contractor should have, the management should have the control and records of all the documents on their fingertips. So this has to be mentioned in this section. now I can say, just to your information, we have only covered 30%. We still have 70% to cover. So we are at 60, sorry, 40% we have covered. We have 60% more. The next key section is safe work practice. So up to now, we have covered the planning and main communication, the initial documents. Here comes the safe work practices of your project. So now you are, say example, you have multiple activities, excavations, working at height, painting. So how you are going to control them? The first and important thing is, what are the different types of work permit you are going to issue in your project? Are you going to have cold work permits, hot work permit, vehicle entry permits, or confined space permits? What radiography permits? What are the different types of permits? Write it here with a sample of permit document. What is your JSA and isolation procedures? Whether your JSA is similar to critical and non-critical activities, whether it is different. If you have different JSAs, write about both of the different JSAs. And then you start your hazards of your activities during excavation. Say, I'm just giving some examples here. Say you have excavations, you have confined space, you have different types of scaffolding works, welding, rigging, sandblasting, you have painting activities, you have electrical works, you have wood works, you have material handling, you have gas cylinders handling, pressure gas cylinders, storage and electrical works. All those activity hazards you have to identify. So when you prepare this section, write excavation hazards, and write the precautions required, both hazards and precautions of excavation. Then you go to confined space. Example, if you have confined space, write it. Otherwise, no need to write confined space. Go to next work activity, what you have in your project. You have electrical works, write electrical works. After that, you write hazards. Then you write precautionary measures, how you are going to handle these hazards. So all those hazards and precautions of each and every activity has to be mentioned in this section. Here, many people forget about their own hazards. They don't mention all the hazards and all the activities. All the hazards, all the activities of the project scope has to be mentioned here. I'm just giving some example. You can add whatever activities you have. Say you can have welding, other works, you can add it here. So the next key section, we are moving from safety work hazards to the health management, occupational health management. Every employee, when you are bringing to the project, you have to conduct pre-employment medical examination, ensure that he is fit for the job, and also conduct periodical medical examinations. This is recommended practice. Every company has a duration limit. Some companies request you to do every year. Some companies request you to do every 2 years. Okay, so please ensure that as per the company protocols, as per the criticality of the jobs, you conduct your PMEs. Here also, there is a huge lag. Companies and management, especially the HSE managers and key people who are responsible to this, are deviating in this. Ensure every worker, including your office boy, including your document controller, drivers, to the top management, everybody attending PMEs. Sorry. Then you mention about your audits, occupational health audits, where you will be conducting the health audits. You write about them. After that, mention your medical facilities. Every project will be having the first aiders, first aid rooms, first aid kits, ambulances, water tankers, and emergency vehicle details. I would just like to tell you guys that when you are making your ambulances and water tankers, don't try to utilize the ambulance driver mobile number as an emergency number. This is a bad practice people are admitting. So ambulance driver has his own mobile. You don't know he is going to recharge this or he's going to maintain it. Maybe he's leaving your job or water, similarly to the water tanker. So this is not the right practice. The right practice are these people should have a company, contractor, independent mobile services. The number, the emergency number. Ensure this in your emergency response. So all the details of your driver, your first aiders and first aid rooms, kits, how many kits you are going to maintain? What is the ratio? 1:20, 1:25, 1:50. You have to mention it here. How many ambulances are available? What is the location of the ambulance? What is the how many people are there in the ambulance? So those details has to be mentioned in this section. Similarly, your first aid kit, it has its own contents. What are the contents you are going to maintain? What is the quantity you are going to maintain? All those things has to be mentioned here. Similarly, every project will be having the welfare facilities, such as you will be having the dining hall, drinking water, washrooms, restrooms, food stores. Those details has to be mentioned. Are you maintaining them inside the project? Are you maintaining them outside the project? How many of them are there? How you are inspecting them? How you are doing the health inspections, audits on all those welfare facilities? Are you maintaining the cold water plant? How you are maintaining your hot waters and how you are maintaining your cold waters during summer? So all those things of welfare has to be mentioned here. Then comes the environmental management. Every project generates its waste. So what is the type of waste? How you are going to collect? How you are going to segregate? How you are going to transport? How you are going to dispose? So this is a key information in respect to Kuwait. We have a very stringent KIPA regulations. So these regulations has to be followed. The transportation of waste, especially the transportation of waste, has to be done by the KIPA approved transporters. There are some KIPA approved companies. There is a list available. Only those people can transport the waste. Also, every day you segregate your waste at site. Don't try to accumulate construction waste, hazardous, non-hazardous waste. Segregate them properly. Provide training to your site supervisors and workers every day. Try to spend some time so that in future everyone's job is done. So your project environmental officers, project environmental engineers, let them ensure that these things are properly segregated. So, and also the disposal of the waste. One of the key things these days, we have seen some people who got taken by the legal committees that they are disposing the waste in the non-designated areas. We have designated areas to dispose the waste. Overall, every country, every project has its own waste disposal locations. Ensure that it has been properly disposed there, and you have the letter. Just we will wait for 2 minutes. We have a Azan here. Okay, once again, we started. So the point I was mentioning about the waste disposal. So ensure that the waste is properly disposed. You are maintaining the records. So this is one of the key things. When people are coming for the environmental audits, they ask the document how you are maintaining your waste disposal. So the waste disposal has to be signed by the transporter as the or the approved company driver who is taking the waste, and the people who are at the disposal location, they also have to put their stamp of receiving the waste. So these documents has to be maintained. So attach the templates in this section and write about flora and fauna, whatever is there applicable to your project. If you have any flora and fauna at your project, how you are going to handle that, and also the pollution control, whether you have, how you are managing your air pollution and your water pollution. So the soil pollution, all those things, the ground pollution, everything has to be included here. Even little rush now, we are at 8:10. Okay. So the next important topic is the equipment management. The next section you can mention about how you are managing your equipment, such as your PPEs. You will be having so much of PPE at site. You can see many of your PPE laying hand gloves and your slings and all thrown here and there. So this is not the right thing. So you have to properly describe what are the types of PPE you are going to utilize at the project, how you are managing your PPE, how you are storing them, how you are distributing them, how you are ensuring that the workers are properly wearing it, how you are ensuring they are properly storing it. After that, you mention about your mechanical handling of loads, how you will be having different types of equipment at site, how you are handling that equipment. And then you mention about your fire and gas detection system. So every project will be having smoke detectors installed at the site offices at different locations, heat detectors in the pantries and many locations, hydrogen detectors in the battery rooms, H2S detectors where you have a flammable, your hydrocarbon lines, your facilities. So how you are going to handle them, how you are going to calibrate them, how you are going to inspect them, how you are going to install them, maintain that. Everything of the detection system has to be mentioned here. And also you will be having your portable H2S detectors. So those detectors, multi-gas detectors, how many are you are going to maintain? You should maintain a proper register for that with the tag numbers, with the calibration dates, validity, and third-party approvals. All the details has to be included here. Similarly, every project has its own safety critical equipments. So all the safety critical equipments during construction phase, during commissioning, during operation has to be addressed here. There are two different safety critical equipment. One is at the construction time, during construction time, one is during operations time. So for the operations times, there is a separate study which will be conducted. I remember safety critical equipment study by using what we can say, that one good word is there. Falcon, sorry, I just forgot it. There is a beautiful way of doing this safety critical element analysis. Similarly, the certification of equipments. See, the previous slide I was explaining to you regarding the certification of manpower. Here, you have to mention certification of your equipment. Say you are bringing your mobile equipment, your cranes, your buses. So you will be some equipments you need third-party approvals, some equipments you need controlling team approvals. So how you are going to maintain them? What is the template for that? What is the register you are maintaining? What are the equipments you are bringing has to be mentioned here. So the next section goes to the transportation and road safety, which is, I can say, in Kuwait, especially Kuwait and also worldwide, one of the major concern, the safety of people traveling by road during all the by means of individual vehicles, by means of pool vehicles, by means of buses. So this is the one of the big concern, how you are going to handle it. What is your journey management plan? So journey management plan will be having different sections, like what are the driver's roles, what drivers has to do, what he should not do, how he will be maintaining the vehicle, how you are maintaining your inspection, journey during night hours, journey in the deserts, in the gatch roads, during rain season, during bad weather, during sandstorms, in case of emergency, how you will handle, in case of incidents, how you will handle. If there is a violation, how you are going to handle it. Everything will be mentioned in the journey management plan. So that document, you can give a reference and put an appendix as a journey management. Even in my first slide, I have shown you journey management plan is part of the HSE plan. So here it comes. So then you mentioned about the defensive driving. So nowadays, every company, every contractor is encouraging people to take their defensive driving training programs. So mention about that. Are you going for the certified third party or in-house defensive driving? So if whatever you are going to give, mention it here and the frequency of that. And also mention, if you can mention about the road diversions, if you have any project related road works. So some projects are exclusively for the road works. So if your project itself is a road construction, what about the existing road? You will be giving many diversions. So mention all those diversions in the project. Similarly, how you are transporting your material, how you are transporting your personnel, what are the types of equipment are going to be used, all those information has to be mentioned here. And further, you add about vehicle monitoring system, how you are monitoring the speed of the vehicle, how you are monitoring the pressure, temperature, pressure of the tires, and all those things. Whatever information of vehicle monitoring, you can add it here. What is your vehicle servicing and maintenance plan? What frequency, what kilometers, what is the range are you going to mention? All those things has to be addressed here. At the end, the speed violation. In case of a violation, what is your action? Are you going to terminate the people? Are you going to issue the warning letters? Are you going to issue the deduction in the salary? What is your specific speed violation theory or speed violation plan has to be mentioned here. So after that, your emergency management. So this emergency management plan, you can make a separate document and add it here, or you can add in this section. What is the key points to be covered? The key point is your emergency response planning. Who are the people? What is their roles and responsibilities? What are the types of emergencies you are expecting at your project? In case of emergency, do you have your own emergency dealing equipments? Whether you have water tankers, whether you have firefighters, fire hydrants, firefighting system, whether you have your sprinkler system, whether you have deluge systems. So whatever is your emergency response plan, whatever the things available, you have to mention it here. After that, you write the roles and responsibilities of key people during emergency. Every emergency has its own emergency response commander. So you have different roles to them. He will be calling a unified number. The unified number has to be mentioned here. Unified number of the key people has to be mentioned here. Those, even the key people are changing, the mobile number should not change. Try to maintain this. Try to ensure this. So this is one of the key lagging we are observing. You hire a project manager. You write his mobile number in the HSE plan and he leaves the project. The new project manager comes, he leaves the project. The third manager is working now. And in case of emergency, people are seeing this number and calling, and you don't know where is this number available. So maintain for all the key personnel at emergency level who has the key responsibilities, they have to maintain the unified contact numbers. Unified numbers. I have seen one of the project, they right from the beginning, they maintained one unified number. Rather than company unified number, they maintained a contractor unified number, so that any emergency, everybody knows which number has to be called. So this is one of the key things we have to ensure. And responsibilities also. Who will be reporting the incident? What is the sequence of reporting? What is the sequence of informing the people? Who will call the company? Who will call the emergency number? Who will update the HSE team? So these responsibilities also be clearly mentioned. And also, in case of emergency, after the emergency is done, how you are going to reassemble the people, your assembly points, your escape routes, all this information regarding emergency has to be mentioned here. At the end, the emergency drills and trainings, how many drills you have planned, how many trainings you have planned, those types of drills has to be mentioned. And the next section is incident management. Every project will be having its own incident management. In case of incident, as I said, how you are going to report an incident. Are you going to call and just leave it, or are you going to prepare a document? Are you going to issue a letters? Are you going to, how you are going to investigate the incident? How you are going to prepare the investigation report? What is the duration? What is the time limit? What is the methodology? Are you going to conduct interviews? Everything, and investigation deadlines, responsibilities, whether you need team leaders or managers, senior engineers, electrical engineers, commissioning managers, or contractor top management. Different levels of incidents will be having different types of investigation methods. All those things has to be mentioned here. And how you are closing your incidents, how you are closing your lesson learns also should be mentioned here. And the next part, I think we are almost at the end of the contents. The last part is performance monitoring. So once you execute your work, once you handle your waste, once you handle your manpower and equipment, incidents, emergencies, how you are monitoring your performance. What is the frequency of inspections? Daily inspections, weekly inspections, monthly inspections. What is the plan? What is the plan for every section? Top management, engineers, managers, safety officers, everybody's inspection schedule has to be mentioned. And audits, types of audits, frequency of audits, methodology of audits, everything related to audit has to be mentioned here. And then management reviews. What is the frequency of management review? Who are the key people? What is the agenda? Where is the location? So all these things has to be mentioned here. At the end, your lagging and leading indicators. The next slide, I will be showing what are the lagging and leading indicators. So at the end of your contents of HSE plan, you can add as much as possible appendices. Example, your managing of subcontractors, your different checklist, your formats of JSA, formats of lifting plan, your formats of the third-party certifications, defensive drivings, your shear registers. Every project will be having a shear register where all the recommendations, you will be given the responsibility and closing time, and you will be tracking the status, whether it is open or closed. If you have any issues, you write the remarks in the shares register to follow the recommendation closeout. That document you can attach in the HSE plan. And also you have to attach your project location map. Some projects will be working outside the company premises. Some projects may be inside the company premises. Some projects are interlinked between two countries. So your project locations and route maps, how to approach in case of emergency, you are calling the countries or some other companies, emergency responders, how they will reach. All this information has to be available here. And also you can add any records, like you have waste management records, you have health records, you have your equipment records. All those things you can add as an appendix. Further to this, at the end of the contents, I would like to say you can add as much as possible related to project as an appendix. So these things you are already aware. Most of you are already aware about the leading and lagging indicators. Leading indicators, nothing but number of inspections, number of audits, SOCs, near misses, trainings, and SVBs. So whatever the things which can add to the project comes as leading indicators. Whatever the project which distracts, which give the bad image, comes as a lagging indicator, where it is number of fires, number of explosions, LTIFR, motor vehicle FR, and then volume spilled, environmental incidents, waste, atmospheric emissions. So these are the examples of leading and lagging indicators. Sorry. With this, I have finished the construction part. I'm really sorry, we are little delay now. We are almost nearing 8:30. I hope within 10 to 15 minutes, I will try to finish. The next part is pre-commissioning and commissioning activities. I have only 1 or 2 slides in this. So as you know, the project, when it moves from construction to commissioning, it undergoes through pre-commissioning and commissioning activities. You will be having different types of pre-commissioning and commissioning activities. Parallel to construction, your construction team is there, same project, same location, next to you, your pre-commissioning team are doing different types of pre-commissioning activities, such as blowing and hydro testing and all those pre-commissioning are sandblasting and all those pre-commissioning activities, whatever is required for the project, based on that they will be doing. near to you, and you have entered a different hazardous zone. Now, how you will update your HSE plan? What are the key contents you need to update in your HSE plan? As I said in the beginning, your HSE plan is a live document. Whenever, what is the frequency of HSE plans updates? So I suggest every company has its own frequency. Usually it is 1 year. Every year you have to update your HSE plan. Addition to that, whenever you have a change in your project scope. Say example, initially your project is only electrical substation. After that, company awarded you to add power lines also in the project. Suppose initially your project is only GC, gathering center. After that, company added in between the project, added pipelines also in your project. So any change in the scope or deletion in the scope, even deletion in the scope, you have to update your HSE plan first. The second is, whenever you have a management change, your top management, say the people who has signed your HSE policies, who has approved your HSE documents, the controlling team leaders, there is a change in the management, change in the key people of the contractor, you have to update your HSE plan. And similarly, when you are entering one stage to other stage, like construction to pre-commissioning and commissioning, the HSE plan has to be updated. Apart from this, annually, the HSE plan has to be updated. It varies on different companies, different projects. So we have to follow that. So when coming back to our pre-commissioning and commissioning activities, the first and most important thing has to be added is permit to work. Now, when you enter into the commissioning phase, the permit issuers, permit applicants will change. Initially, the applicants may be contractor and the issuers may be the controlling teams. Now the applicants will controlling team, the issuers may be the asset teams, the other owners. If there is a change in the permit to work system, that has to be addressed. After that, the list of activities of pre-commissioning and commissioning has to be addressed. Before we address the construction ones, weldings, excavation, confined space, in that section, you have to add pre-commissioning activities, and then you have to identify your hazards and risk assessments. Your risk assessments will change, your hazards, identified hazards will change. All those informations has to be updated in the respective sections, because your work activities in the one section, your hazards identification and the risk assessment in the other section. If it is there, you have to add that. Similarly, now you have additional roles and responsibilities. Your commissioning manager comes in now. In the contractor HSE plan, you will not be having your detailed commissioning manager. Now you have a different, additionally, commissioning manager. You have your pipeline inspector. Example I am giving, whatever the additional people who are joining the team, those teams' roles, those people's responsibilities has to be added here. Because your response, when it comes to responsibilities, it is not in section 4, I believe, where 4 or 5, where you are adding the responsibilities. Additionally, your emergency response during commissioning, your incident response, incident management during commissioning, your waste management during commissioning also will change. There also, the responsibilities has to be clearly mentioned. That emergency response during any commissioning work, during any hydro testing, construction manager will not take action, maybe commissioning manager. So his responsibility has to be added here. Similarly, what are the safety systems you will be required during commissioning stage? Like during leak testing, what are the additional safety systems you are bringing to the project? You will be bringing many isolation materials, isolation equipments. You will be bringing many gas testing equipments. So all those things has to be identified here. And for commissioning, if you are bringing any additional PPE, and similarly, your training matrix has to be updated for the new commissioning crew, the other people who are during construction, they also now has to undergo the commissioning training. It is not only commissioning people, even your construction people has to go now the related commissioning jobs near to them where they are working. And then you have to update your risk register. This is one of the key things which is lagging. Risk register also has the activities of different works. So these activities has to be further updated and revised, responsibilities and action duration. Similarly, your firefighting measures, as I said, your emergency responses, your commissioning audits, inspection schedule for the commissioning activities, your mechanical completion walkdowns, how you are going to conduct your mechanical completion walkdown for safety equipment. You will be installing permanent fire extinguishers, permanent gas detectors, permanent assembly points, permanent signboards, permanent H2 detectors. So the mechanical completion has to be done by the team with the commissioning, construction, company, and all those people has to go and inspect whether these installations of safety equipment is properly done or not. That has to be mentioned in the commissioning HSE plan. It is the same HSE plan which you are updating with this information. And also you have to mention the conditions for suspending the work. So in case of, say, you are doing a hydro test and you have a leak, are you going to shut the whole plant, or are you going to shut only this particular section, the nearby people? How you are going to deal with this type of situations, you have to mention it here. And additionally, the safety studies like PS, which usually conducts during commissioning stage, is PSSR and Phaser 5, pre-startup safety review and Project HSE review, which we will be conducting just before the startup. So those informations, what is the plan, what is the form you are going to use? Usually for PSSR, two types of forms are there. One is short form, one is long form. If you are handling only equipment for PSSR, you can use the short form. If you are handling a GC or a big pipeline, big substation for any project, if you are using a long form, so that information, that templates has to be attached. Similarly, Phaser 5, what is the Phaser 5 roles and responsibilities? What is the checklist you are going to use? What are the documents you are going to utilize? That information has to be updated. At the end, your initial normal startup and shutdown procedures. What is, as I said, in case of emergencies, whether you are following a level 1, level 2, level 3 shutdown, what is your levels and what is your initial startup procedure? Are you maintaining any documents, SOPs? All those information has to be addressed here. So I think we are almost in the last slide. So this is one of the usual HSE studies activity plan for every stage, where you mention your HSE studies with responsibilities and duration of when you are going to start, when you are going to finish. So that this table will be attached at the end of the HSE plan. I think with that, we finishes our presentation. Now the floor is open for any queries and questions. I think Ramana, can you please take up now? We will have questions now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Arshad Sheikh, for the brief step-by-step explanation. It is really informative and fruitful session. Hope our participant acquired knowledge from this session. Now the floor is open for question and answer. We'll take 4 to 5 questions. If at all you have any questions, you can post in the chat box. We'll also take up them also. Anyone is having question, he can raise his hand so that we can unmute him one by one. Yes, Arshad bhai, you're telling something.
No, I was feeling that chat box was disabled. Now I think it is enabled. Yeah.
Yes, it's enabled now.
Good evening, Arshad. My name is Rao. Just I have one quick question. What is the difference between critical? Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. What is the difference between safety critical equipment and safety critical element? You mentioned it, but not like I was confused with that. What is, we write a SCE, but what is equipment and what is element in your this one? That is first question. Second question quickly. This HSE plan is a first document when we start the project, like suppose in the execution stage. And once you get approved, I never seen contractor is updating until unless you put some recommendation either in the Phaser 3 or Phaser 4. Majority of the time he may not be updating because he may not be knowing, for example, waste management. He may not be knowing at the stage of the project quantifying of the waste and segregation and collection. So how frequent this document has to be updated? These are my 2 questions.
Can you repeat your second question, please?
Because the HSE plan is the first document of the project, like so until unless you approve the document, the contractor is keep on following up with company that until unless you approve this document, I cannot do any site works starting of the construction of the site offices, all those things like. And at the starting of the project, you may not be knowing what kind of waste and all this until unless the HSE manager are all understanding of the project scope. And you have mentioned many detailed things to be included in this scope. But many times I have seen it's a very minimal, and majority of the time they put only HSEMS procedures to be followed.
Understood,
If
understood,
they
Rao.
give
Thank you.
one
Thank you for
answer, they
thank you
say
for
that
two good.
KYC HSEMS procedures to be followed.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Rao. I understood your questions. Thank you for two beautiful questions. The first question is safety critical elements. I was telling during construction stage, the list of safety critical elements is different. And during design stage, the safety critical elements, if you are working for the oil and gas project, that is different, where you do using the Hsc model, which I was not remembering. Now I remembered, which is a Hsc model where you will use your sustainability, your reliability, and all those things, maintainability and all. Okay. So what happens is during the design stage, based on your safety critical elements, like you identify your safety critical elements like your detectors, your instrumentation, and all those things, you apply their applicability, availability, and maintainability, integrity, those things in the safety critical element study, which is a different document. However, during construction of the project, you have different types of safety critical equipments at site, such as cranes, such as your mobile plants, different type of welding machines, and all those critical elements. So those safety critical elements has to be mentioned in the Contractor HSE Plan. In the same section, two types. One is during construction, one is during design. So design you have already done. There is a separate document. You give a reference for that. For the construction ones, you list it. That's the key thing. That's the safety critical element or equipment, whatever you can say it. When it comes to the second question, yes, in the beginning of the project, nobody is aware of the exact waste management plan, exact details of the project. However, he has a planned thing. He can mention in the beginning, in the further document, when the project is progressing, we will be developing a waste management plan and submitting to the company for the approval based on the real pictures. So that's the key sentence. He has to mention it in the HSE plan with a reference to waste management plan, which is a separate document. Later on, he can update it with the exact numbers and submit to the company based on the further information. Addition to that, in the HSE plan, he has to mention monthly wise, we will be submitting waste generation report to the company, where every month contractor will submit separately a separate document to the company with the type of waste, tons of quantities of the waste generated, and the disposal methods. So thus those key information he can address in the HSE plan. That's the question answer. Can we have some other ones, please, if you have anything? I think Rao, you are clear with this.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your explanation.
Anyone have question? Can raise your hand so that we can unmute you to ask your question. Brothers, whoever are requesting to add your numbers in the WhatsApp group, please do follow us on all the social medias.
Asif, Ashok sir has raised his hand. Please unmute him.
Okay. Yes, sir. Ashok sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Kashif. Very well done. Thank you, Arshad Bhai, for elaborating on the contractors HSE plans requirements. I was wondering, maybe I missed it. Welfare measures, did you cover anywhere? I think because, nowadays KPC is focusing more on the welfare management of the employees by the contractors. So that is also one of the key requirements. I just wanted to highlight on that.
Yes, sir. We have covered it. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions?
Yeah, we'll take one more question. Final question. Yes, brother Arshad, you're telling something.
Yeah, I was telling like
There is one
any
gentleman,
question is okay.
Engineer
Yeah, please go ahead.
Muhammad. Engineer Muhammad has raised his hand. Please unmute him.
First of all, thank you all of your senior members. Actually, I'm just a junior in mechanical engineering department, just passed out from my last exams from mechanical engineering. I just want to know what is the basic procedures to go in oil and gas field as a HSE officer. So can you guide me in a briefly some steps to how can I join any HSE sector for oil and gas related to mechanical engineering? So just I'm waiting for your some kind of briefly answer to get for this part.
Engineer Muhammad, because of time constraint, please hang on till the last moment, and our chapter staff, Mr. Ramana, will guide you with certain extent, right? Because your query is something separate, and we will entertain you. Be with us till we finish the networking process. Okay, dear?
Thank you. Thank you, Sardarji.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Thank
clear
you.
actually. And Engineer Muhammad, you can contact me. I had given my number, the chapter number. You can contact me through the WhatsApp so that I can guide you. And now actually we are passing the time. We are crossing the time. So we have to go for online quiz. What we need to do, we'll go for a poll now. Okay, it's having 3 questions. And I request everyone to participate in the poll so that we'll see the results here itself. And after the poll, we are going for another link, which will have the same quiz over there and a feedback also. So after participating in the quiz, you will get the certificate. We already mentioned in the email saying that the participation in the meeting as well as participation in the quiz is mandatory to get the participation certificate. So I request everyone to do this. Now the poll is on. Just a minute, because the co-host will not get the this one poll. That's why I'm disabling all the co-host permissions. Just give me 2 minutes, 2 seconds.
Yeah, meanwhile, Abdul Rasid Sheikh is having a question. He can post his question in chat box. We'll try to entertain him during networking. But please post the quiz link quickly.
Yeah. Yes, please. Hope you all get it. Did you get the poll?
Anyone receive the link? Anyone receive the?
No, not received.
No,
Yet.
Riyaz, are you doing?
Not yet.
No, here also some issue. You are logged in from another device. Your police function is active.
Yeah, I'm also getting the same thing. Okay, no issues. So we won't go for poll now. There is some technical issue. What we'll do is I'm going to post a link in the chat box. You just click on that and participate in the online quiz. Okay, the link is posted. Just click on that and participate in the online quiz. This will be active only for 5 minutes, and this one will be available on YouTube comments also. Those who couldn't able to join in the Zoom meeting, they can watch over there. Okay, meanwhile, we can continue the session, like introduction of the new members we can take. I hope everyone got the chat box link. Link in the chat box, I mean. And the same thing as posted in the YouTube also. Those who wouldn't able to join in the Zoom meeting, they can go to YouTube and they can participate also. But this will be enabled for 5 minutes only. From now, it will be 3.5 minutes. We are already late.
Well, if our trainer is around, there is a question. It's saying contingency plan. Mr. Arshad?
Yeah, just a minute.
There is a question, brief about contingency plan in emergency linking nearby facility. What extent will be required during execution stage, like tie-in if at all or something?
Can Abdul Rashid, can you please elaborate on this, what you are expecting?
Yeah, correct, yeah. Mr. Abdul Rashid Sheikh, Ramana, please unmute him.
Yeah, he can.
Good evening, Mr. Arshad.
Yeah,
Yes,
please go ahead, sir.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to hear. It's a kind of a very informative presentation from Mr. Arshad. I was just very thoroughly going through this presentation, in which one point which I was having in my mind, like when we are preparing the HSE plan for a project during the tender stage. So if there is a client who asks to provide a contingency plan, so as a contractor with the experience of building the projects with a limited access or a knowledge of oil and gas operations, up to what extent a contingency plan should be prepared?
Again, it all depends on what type of project you are handling and what is the expectation. That's why I said this presentation was exclusively during construction stage. Okay, Ramana, can you please unmute? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. This plan today, what we discussed is exclusively during construction stage. I have done one more awareness session on field stage HSE plan and execution stage HSE plan, which is just before the tendering. So in that section, company will request the contractors during the contract awarding, like during contract participation, what are the documents and expectations we are expecting from the contractor. It all depends on project to project, client to client, company to company. So company will usually ask the contractor to provide his contractor's HSE plan, which is already existing or available in his company. So how he is going to handle the emergency situations, whether he has proper same things, whether he has proper manpower, proper equipments, proper setup. So those informations has to be provided during the tender stage. That's how it is required during the execution HSE plan. Once the project is awarded, now contractors HSE plan of his own company and his own project will not be applicable here. Here he has to follow whatever the company he is signing, he is executing the project. So those requirements has to be fulfilled.
Okay,
Is it
Ramana,
okay, Mr. Abdul Rashid?
कुछ में contribution करना था वो भी कर दी है उसके बगैर
Yeah, what is the next question? I think one more we have.
at the end तक session करना लाजमी है ना सारी मैंने जाए ना चली जाए
Ramana, can you mute
Yeah,
someone?
yeah.
I think they are speaking.
No, by mistake they were talking. They were unmute only.
Okay, Ramana, please post the quiz questionnaire or participation. Yes, you will get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
It's done
Let
now.
us wrap it very quickly, and those who really want to get more information, we will do some little networking. So be at the last moment.
We have one more question in KOC projects. Fire wardens training is to be done by third-party trainer and approved trainers. This is specific to a company, and look out the company procedure. You will come to know for that.
Yeah.
We cannot comment on this. And do we have one more question? General question? Can we have just a minute?
There was one question I like that. It's here. His name is Mr. Sekhar, and he suggested that he was of this view that HSE plan is to be in line of the client HSE procedure, and that's correct. That is also there. You can mention that reference, which I understand it. Also, in addition, leading and lagging indicator as a part of communication section, which helps to understand the process of HSE plan. So he was adding a little bit more on this in your presentation itself, which I understand. Thank you, Mr. Sekhar, for your input itself. So there is no question additionally on this. Ramana, do we have a felicitation slide ready? Let us wrap it very quickly.
Saftarji, it's ready. Please go ahead.
Now it's an honor to felicitation to our speaker for today, Mr. Arshad Ayub, as a token of appreciation for his coming forward and taking the lead of this session itself. So from chapter staff, from core committee, kindly accept our little token of appreciation for your running this event as a trainer today, Mr. Arshad Ayub. And we look forward for your continued support in future as well. Now it's time to announce the quiz winner. Ramana, please take the lead.
Thank you. Thank you all participants. We have received enormous responses. Within few minutes, we have received quiz answers from 92 participants. Okay. And we are going to announce the top 3 quick answered persons. And these are the 3. Thank you, Annamarauji. You are the first one who have done in quicker time. The next one. Mr. Abdul Rashid Sheikh, the second quickest winner. Mr. Muhammad Hamid Imam, the third quickest answered person. Okay, we congratulate all of you for your quickest answers, and we request you to participate in all of our upcoming events. Thank you very much.
Now it's time to give a closing remark. Myself, Safdar Ali Khan, Vice President, and from part of core committee. I thank you all for making this event a very successful event, especially today the speaker, Mr. Arshad Sheikh, HSE event head, Mr. Yusuf, and his team for collaborating this event, and the participants. I've seen that overwhelming response, and till the last moment there was 100 people in the participation. This shows that how interesting it was, the whole session. In fact, I was also glued to this system itself. Though we have been practicing so long, still there is a fresh information and we rejuvenate it. So thank you for you all who has participated that. And those who has missed that opportunity, they can still visit to our YouTube page and be in touch with our social media. We are also in LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So those who has attended this event today will be getting participation certificate. And thank you all our chapter staff, Riaz, Ramana, for making this event very successful. And despite our secretary has something urgency, Mr. Kasif coming forward and taking lead. And thank you, Mr. Badar, who has also attended from Honorary Secretary, and the committee heads, Mr. Balwant, Mr. Arshad Ayub, Mr. Ali Arshad from Mentors, who has come forward and make it a grand successful event. Though we were having a registration of around 200 plus. So because of technical limitation, we can accommodate sometimes we have the 500 participant, but limitation, but sometimes it is blocking it 100 plus. So we were posting the link to YouTube. Those who has missed this opportunity, you have still time. So we will be not sharing any sort of presentation, but if you visit our SSP page in YouTube, you will be having all related information. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your encouragement and support. We look forward from hear from you in future as well. Ramana, please stay with some people who want us to do networking for the first time. And thank you all the international participant from different part of world who has come here and be in today this learning session itself. Mr. Arshad Ayub has taken a glimpse, which was a project execution phase, and he has mentioned this all 10 elements. Apart from that, pre-commissioning and commission. So that was very useful for many of us. We will see that if further request is there, we can have similar session in future as well. Now over to Ramana for a networking purpose. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Savdarji. Noted. And I request all the participants who are giving their email IDs to note that we are going to send the participant certificate automatically. The system will check the participation, the attendance, as well as the participation in the quiz, and then it will be distributed automatically. So within 24 hours, we'll send this one. So I request everyone to check your emails for the participant certificate. If you didn't find it in your inbox, check your spam as well as junk folders. And if you didn't find, you can call us. But it's rare case. We cannot able to do it manually because our system is designed in that way. So if you have participated in the meeting and you have participated in the quiz, means 100% the certificate will be coming to your inbox. The issue what we are getting is most of the people using Gmail. In the Gmail, what is happening is automatically many of our mails is going to spam or junk folders. That is the issue what we have observed in most of the times. That's why I request you to check your inbox first and then junk and spam folders for the participant certificate, but it will be coming in the due course, like within 24 hours, you will receive it. Thank you. Now the floor is open for the networking. If anyone wants to wants to talk, you can open your mic and talk. And I request the newcomers those who have joined for the first time to open your mic and talk about yourself. Introduce yourself, please. I am saying many people. If you want me to call, I can call a few people, but it's better if you open your mic and come forward voluntarily. Okay, then I'll call few of the one by one. Then Mr. Alfred Azio, could you please open your mic and speak, Mr. Alfred?
All right. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. I'm speaking from Nigeria. Hello, can you hear me, please?
Yes, Mr. Alfred, we can hear you.
From Nigeria, it's a pleasure being on this call. Part of ASSP Nigeria chapter also, and just one interesting opportunity for me to also this evening from tradesmen like you. Thank you.
Thank you. There was some issue with your mic, it seems, but anyway, we got you. Now I request Mr. Engineer Muhammad Hamza. Please introduce yourself. Mr. Muhammad Hamza. In the meantime, if anyone wants to talk, you can raise your hand so that we can allow you to talk.
Thank you for calling. Myself is Engineer Muhammad Hamza. Sorry, actually, I miss your voice, so that's why I take a little bit delay. So first of all, myself, Engineer Muhammad Hamza, and actually I was recently passed my engineering degree back to 2020. I really appreciate all of you senior members to let me allow to talk with you. Actually, I'm doing a production supervisor in a automobiles factory, so that's why it's a very every part of life to check safety and HSE plan. So that's why I searching some kind of information. So that's why I find your page and requested for the session. And I really enjoy this session and get many information about safety and other planning of safety. Thank you for all of your seniors to provide such a great information. I always waiting for your next future planning. Thank you, all of your seniors.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad Hamza. As we advised, you can talk to me later, okay? And
Okay,
Mr.
thank you.
Fahad Umar, could you please open your mic?
Yeah, hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank you so much to the speaker, Mr. Arshad, and thank you so much to the ASSP Kuwait chapter. I'm Fahad Umar. I am from ASSP Pakistan chapter. I am a volunteer leader serving in the ASSP Pakistan. And I want to congratulate ASSP Kuwait chapter for getting the platinum in your recognition award as well, and I am very grateful for how you are delivering these sessions, and we are also looking forward to follow the steps of the Kuwait chapter and organize the events in the same manner for the audience.
Thank you, Mr. Fahad Umar. We appreciate your kind words, and with the support of our area director, we are helping our regional 9 chapters to come forward to know about to know more about comp report preparation, so that you will also get a good award in the future, the upcoming years. Okay, just be in touch with the area director and regional GRVP. Okay, so that we'll
Yes,
try to help you in all the country.
thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mr. Sridhar Bikumola.
Yeah.
How
Good
are you?
evening, all. Thank you very much for the. First of all, I want to congratulate ASSP for giving this opportunity. Thanks all, and also especially Arshad Bhai. It's a very good information. Actually, when I think it's almost all 8 years back only I attended the physically this meeting, but the same freshness, same happiness I feel on online also. It's all greatness and good information from your side. So I want to once again thank you from my side also. Thank you, Ramnath.
Thank you very much. Mr. Mahbub Ashan.
Thank you, sir, for giving me a chance to speak here. First of all, thank you, the presenter who took the lead and taught us a lot of things regarding HSE plan. Thank you, Kuwait chapter. I have a question regarding there is a Pakistan chapter, Kuwait chapter. So is there any Saudi Arabian chapter? Because I'm from Saudi Arabia.
In Saudi Arabia, I think we don't have. We have only UAE. I think UAE chapter and Middle East chapter. There are 2 chapters in the Gulf, 3 chapters in the Gulf. Anyway, I will check and come back to you. Okay.
Okay.
Because,
If I have to join your chapter like Kuwait or UAE, we can join. If even we are from any other part of the world, so we can join any chapter.
Yes, it is possible.
Okay.
Only thing is you just log into ASSP.org and there is a column for join. You click on that and you have to fill the form online, and in the chapter you have to select Kuwait chapter or whichever is near to you. Okay, so it will go to them, the record will go to them, and they will be contacting you for the future events. You can opt the chapter whichever is nearest to you, or whichever you feel is a good chapter. Okay, there is an opportunity there. You can try to join online.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ramana. And also, I have attended and shared my email with you guys. So, if there is any future event, I would like to participate.
That's why,
from
dear.
your guys.
Instead of I understood. Instead of that, what I'm requesting is you try to save our number, WhatsApp number, which is given in the chat box. Send a test message so that we'll try to add in a group so that you will receive our all for future events. Otherwise, adding emails is difficult. Emails is nowadays a little bit difficult difficult to communicate. The WhatsApp is better communication device. What we feel. That's why you save our number and send a text message so that we'll add you in the group. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mahbub. Who is this Galaxy S10? I don't know. Please change your names. If we put like
Yes,
this,
sir. Yes, sir. This is here. Sir, did you hear me?
Yeah, it's good, but see, if you are putting the name like this, probably you won't get the certificate even. How we can identify that? How the system will identify your name? Tell me.
Yes, actually, what happened? I attend this session with ASSP first time, and I don't know to change get the name of Galaxy 10. I have okay, I will change this one right now. And first of all, I'm appreciate with your session. The session was very systematic, organized in slightly and inspiration. And really, I hope hoping for a next session. And myself, I'm introducing with you myself, Mateen Abdul Sattar Gite. I'm from Kuwait. Basically, I'm from India, but I'm working in Kuwait in last 8 years as a safety officer in a Bilfinger company. Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Did you hear me?
Yeah. I changed your name. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Yasser. Just now you changed. Very good, actually, because as we told already, the system won't recognize if your name is not matching with the records. Okay, that's why you always have to check whether your name is properly entered or not. Better to put your full name. Now it's okay because methane will be, it's not a, it's a, what are you going to say? It's a rare name, not.
This is my first name, sir. First
Yeah,
name and
understood,
last
understood.
name is, sir, actually this is my first name. Mateen is my first name and second name is Gite. Gite. Gite.
Okay. So that is better actually. GITE, right?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Gite. Okay, sir. Thank you
Okay.
so much for adding me.
Okay. Thank you. And Mr.
Nice to talk
Yasser,
to you.
thank you. And Mr. Mateen, how do you come to know about this?
Sir, one of my friend is working in Honeywell, so he gave the reference of your. Yeah. So
Okay.
he sent me your link, and I already contact with ASSP WhatsApp. So they
Yeah,
get the link, and I added in this session. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Yasser, please. Mr. Yasser, could you please unmute your mic?
Hello, sir.
Okay.
This
Yeah,
is
Mr.
Hidayat.
Kinder. Yeah, please.
Yes. I'm from Pakistan, sir, and I'm working as a HSE officer in a construction company in Pakistan right now, sir. I would like to congratulate to ASSP Kuwait chapter. Topic regarding today's training session was fabulous, fantastic, and informative. I really got enjoyed, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. And I'm waiting for your next upcoming events, sir. Thank you so much.
Mr. Kinder. Thank you very much. Mr. Rizwan.
Yeah, good evening, sir. First of all, I appreciate for a very nice and informative session. The reason I raised my hand is I saw an upcoming session on ASP preparation workshop. I wanted to inquire whether any CSP preparation workshop is also in the line or not.
Yeah, sure. We'll plan actually. Probably what we are doing is last time what we did is we have done for CSP only, and we invited the participants who has interested for ASP. Like in one session we are discussing for both, like that we did for the last time. But CSP is difficult. It requires a little bit more concentration. So probably after the ASP, we may have CSP preparatory course as well. Okay, so keep in touch with us. Probably we'll get the schedule later.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Rizwan. Mr. Yasser, please open your mic. I think you are facing some issue with your mic. Okay. Thank you all for participation. It's already 45 minutes past then actual time. So we'll meet in the next meet, probably on 11th August, but still under preparation. We'll be sending the announcement soon. Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you for participating. Have a nice day.
Okay, Ramnaji.
Okay, Mr. Ramna, thanks.